All right. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
All
How are you
right.
doing?
Good. So how'd you get into this whole fitness thing?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you reached out and we got to have some time to get set up
Yeah.
here and just share my story and really just dive into some cool stuff here. But it really started. I was always growing up fit or active in some way, but introduced to the gym in high school, but it wasn't really a big motivating thing for me to consistently be in. I wanted to challenge myself in some ways, and kind of like a lot of people, getting out of a relationship is the catalyst that starts for them to get like invest in themselves. So I started to pick up running, and I absolutely loved it. You know, the bilateral stimulation that I got from training long distances, and then started going after my first marathon. And so that got me out of the weight room and more into the outdoor active, waking up early, trying to PR, and got me into this mindset of what's the next thing I can do? What can I progress in next? You know, that's different than adding another plate to the bar. And so running was that for me in the active cardio space. But then I found calisthenics. I saw a bunch of people doing these awesome, cool tricks and skills online. And I was like, that can be me one day. You know, why not? And started just doing little progressions, the basic skills, foundations. And it's taught me so much more than just how to be fit and how to exercise in a different way. It's given me presence, a sense of stability mentally and physically. You have to be aware of your body from head to toe. So it's really been like a transformative way that I can express myself too. And that's essentially like what I started to get into. And there's different progressions. There's like 30 different variations of a push-up that you can do. And I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how different progressions of using your body weight can feel like you're carrying or loading your muscles more. And so that brought a new level of excitement, you know, like, yeah, you can bench press 200, 255, 300 pounds. That's all amazing. That's an achievement in its own. I personally found so much value and so much of my own grace and gratitude for different types of skills that I can do with my body. And so that's kind of how I got into this. Now I'm obsessed with, you know, learning the next thing and leveling up, not just like adding more weight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what sports did you play in high school and stuff? Or
Yeah.
Did you play sports in high school?
I started playing, especially with the World Cup right now, American football, but also, you know, international football, soccer.
Yeah.
Those are my two main sports. And all throughout high school, growing up, I hated running.
Yeah.
You know, it was the worst thing. I hated just being there. And,
I think it's everyone's sort of, right?
Yeah.
Like mine too. I always hated running. I still do.
Yeah.
I can't say I don't. Yeah, it's always tough. And it was almost like a punishment. You had to go run, right? So it's probably beat into your head. You don't want to run.
It definitely was like, if you're being told to do something, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But making the choice of like, this is something that I want to challenge myself in is totally different.
Yeah. And what's the longest you've run?
I've done 3 marathons so far.
3 marathons?
Yeah.
All right. Nothing. Have you done looked into the ultra
I've
stuff
looked into it.
Any interest in there?
I don't think ultras are for me. Like,
yeah.
You know, 50 mile, 100 mile. I follow a bunch of people who do that kind of stuff, like the 300 miler race that, you know, a bunch of these people do. It's insane. And I applaud them, but I don't think I'd ever put myself in that.
Yeah, it's got to be a different mindset. And I don't know how you get into that mindset to want to just, I don't know, because I don't even want to get out and run right now.
Yeah.
Forget about like doing 300 miles.
Exactly.
And training for something like that.
And that was what I was going to say. For training for a marathon, you can have a progression plan, work up to it, but like training for something like 300 miles, I feel like at some point it just becomes mental.
Yeah.
And you have to just fight whatever your body's saying with your mind.
Yeah. I think, it's, you know, like people just got to be like just doing the challenges and stuff. And was there someone you looked up to that got you into the calisthenics and the balancing? I was wondering if you did gymnastics or something before, like when you were a kid at all, before getting into some of it.
You know, it's interesting because I had, you know, the only experience with running was football, and it was as a punishment, like you said. I had no gymnastics experience, no flexibility experience. Um, I just noticed that, yes, I was working out in the gym, but every time I walked out, I still felt stiff. I didn't feel like my body was active or like,
Yeah.
able to move. So I didn't get into that niche until I started practicing and like looking up to, um, the guys that teach online to do
Yeah.
it. So I hadn't even had a mentor per se
Yeah.
until I started doing it myself. And then I started attracting others who do it around me, which is, it's a very small niche.
Yeah.
It's not popularized
Yeah.
in the States. I've internationally traveled, and there's groups that get together with hundreds of people. There's parks everywhere. They're just built differently,
Yeah.
infrastructure wise, to have
Yeah.
and support that. We're just not built the same here
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. Do you follow Coach Blue?
Coach
Coach,
Blue.
he does a lot of the, like, he runs on the treadmill with like 145-pound, like the barbell
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff like that, like chains and stuff. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
some of the weird balancing,
Yeah.
like the different push-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
He does it, like with holding weights or like the jumping ones and stuff like that.
That's kudos to him.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, with you talked about push-ups, pull-ups, another big thing, right? That you see you see a lot of different videos and these
Mhm.
people doing crazy stuff on there. How long does it usually take for you to build up some of those skills? Like some of these guys doing some wild things. I did CrossFit, and you know, every time I did one, I forget the name. It was like 10 years ago since I did it, but like one of those pull-ups, I felt like I was going to tear my shoulder out. So, how did you get into that and teach yourself, or
Yeah.
were you coached through some of it?
Yeah. Something that I tell everybody that asks that question, how long does it take to hit XYZ?
Yeah.
And it's the same answer, is it depends.
Yeah.
Everybody has their certain goals, but it really does depend on where you're at, how patient you'll be, and also how much you're willing to endure the basics, because
Yeah.
the basics aren't sexy,
Yeah.
but like being able to do a muscle up for reps,
Yeah.
that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
But the basics of training your scapular to have that pulling motion.
Yeah.
And, like you said, you felt like you were going to tear your shoulder. There
Yeah.
might be some mobility involved there that
yeah.
you haven't unlocked yet, or that whoever it is that I'm training hasn't unlocked yet.
Yeah.
So you want to find out, what you're capable of now. Can you do a banded pull up? Can you do negatives? Can you
Yeah.
just hold yourself in a flex pull up position? But it really depends, it also, how much do you work out currently? So it can really depend,
Yeah.
my skills that I take, like a handstand, could take a month for someone else.
Yeah.
For me, it took like 6 months,
Yeah.
it really depends on your own body awareness, progressions. I think a lot of people want to get into the sexy skills first,
Yeah.
and then they get humbled and then have to go back to the basics.
Yeah. How long it takes. Yeah.
And if you come in humble and
Yeah.
ready to learn, then you will progress faster than
Yeah.
those who started out too far.
It's also, as you age, I think it's a lot harder, and that's where I struggle, is because, like, for a while when I was starting my business for 5 years, I didn't really work out. I did CrossFit, and then all of a sudden, like once I started my own business, I didn't really have much time to work out, and I do it once in a while. But like I feel like I got more and more stiff over those first 5 years of opening up my own business,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like, like where I could easily like touch my toes, like bent over, like it became real hard. I'm getting, now it's easier since I've gotten more into working out and like trying to lengthen my muscles and stuff, but it's still like super stiff. So it takes quite a bit more. So the more sedentary you are, I think it like just prolongs that. And it's tough when you're like unable to stretch and it causes you more pain. It's
Yeah.
like, and to do it right, because a lot of people like just watch it and try to do it. And I'm like, and I kind of know my cues where I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this wrong. And like, unless I watch it and like know how to do it perfectly, all right, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So,
I've injured myself, even the last couple of years that I've done this.
yeah.
And it's because I started out too strong. I started out, wanting to do something that I wasn't built for yet.
Yeah.
And anybody that does calisthenics will say calisthenics will humble you, because it really, really does.
Yeah.
You think that you can balance yourself, and then you fall on the face, you kiss the floor, you give yourself concussions. It's a fun sport, but it's a very humbling sport.
And how long do you train? Like how many days a week do you train? Or what's your schedule look like?
Yeah. So with running and strength training, I typically train 5 days a week total.
Okay.
And I'd say 3 to 4 of those days will be strength and running.
Yeah.
Now strength can be push, pull, legs. Calisthenics is challenging to do just body weight with legs.
Yeah.
Possible, but I use weights for that.
Yeah.
But all the push pull, you have all those variances of push-ups, pull-ups, different exercises that you can do that.
Yeah.
If you see it in the weight room, you can almost replicate a lot of those through body weight movements. But my split is pretty typical, 5 days a week of training, 2 days of rest, stay on top of my nutrition, eating whole foods. And the running I typically work out twice a day most weeks.
Yeah.
Running in the morning because it's hot out during the summer and it's the only time that's bearable to go out. And then indoor or anywhere that I want for strength training.
What's the distance you're usually running, like during your week or during your days you're running?
Yeah, I'd say typically I'm doing up to 30 miles a week. So I can break that up to like a minimum of a 4-mile run, or like if I, do 3 days of running, then one of those runs maybe like 8 miles. So I typically break it down into weekly mileage and then break it up from there. I'm training for a marathon right now, so that's going to fluctuate. It's going to keep on ramping up, but yeah, I typically like to stay above 3 for a run. Yeah. And then if I'm doing a longer run, then probably something above 8.
Yeah. And how do you do it during the summertime, Arizona heat?
Here it's so tough to do in the heat. It's either I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go beat the sun out.
Yeah.
Or I wait until the sunset and at least get a good view while I'm dying of the heat.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And do you do any like running up and down mountains and stuff?
I hate hills. I was telling them earlier that my first marathon was in Hawaii, on Kauai, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But I can't train for those types of hills in Arizona.
Yeah.
Unless I'm running up, like the mountains that are nearby. But hills, I hate hills.
Yeah.
I hate hill work so much.
But like the thing, like whenever I go climbing, I go up slowly, like up Camelback and stuff.
Yeah.
But these people like running up and down, I'm like, I would definitely like roll my ankle and like I'd be injured within a few minutes. But these guys are running 2 or 3 times up and down.
They're insane. They can make it up in like 20 minutes, and then within an hour you see them 2-3 times. Yeah,
I just want, like, health wise, I wonder. Running's already kind of hard on your joints. That's just got to be like tremendous stress on your joints.
Yeah, and I will say, like, recovery is just important, if not more important than training.
Yeah,
like how you recover, stretching out. I think that's one thing I wasn't exposed to early on in my journey.
Yeah.
And it caused a lot of injuries. Taking it seriously now, though, I feel like that has actually helped me gain more strength and gain more progression in my running.
How do you fit the stretching into your work? Is it at the beginning, at the end? Do you warm up and stretch and then go do your run?
I do both. I do before and after. Typically before, I do dynamic stretching. And one thing about calisthenics is if you're training for a certain skill, so handstands are pretty much what my main skill is right now.
Yeah.
You have to stretch and warm up your shoulders, your wrists, your elbows in a very specific way. You can't just go in and do it and load all 3 of those joints. And training joints is different than training muscles.
Yeah.
So when you go in and you're training and stretching a specific way, it's all dynamic. It's all, movement, flexible, mobility based, not necessarily loading with weight.
Yeah.
So I go in dynamically stretching, and then at the end is when I'll do the static stretches, the holds, more so for flexibility and to contract the muscles. And for running, kind of the same thing. The gyms that I go to, they all have amenities, the leg compression sleeves, the massage guns, rolling out, all of those take really a few minutes when you look at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a whole lot of time. So I think that's why a lot of people maybe skip it, because it's like, it's only a few minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
But those few minutes are crucial in
Yeah.
preventing injuries.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I got one of those slant boards and trying to just
Yeah.
increase my flexibility in
How do
my
you like
knees,
it?
and good. It's definitely like beneficial, like even on the lower back and
Hmm.
legs, glutes. I think it helps out a lot. And then um, I got like the knees over toes guy. Like I kept on hearing Joe Rogan, so I bought one of their like bench things that's like 11 and 1 whatever,
Hmm.
and I just do like the Nordic curls and I do the GHD sit-ups, which both of them, they're body weight exercises, but like you also build quite a lot into your legs, and
Yeah.
I think that's made a huge difference. Like just lengthening the muscles in the legs also gives you a lot more definition
Hmm.
overall, which people probably don't think about. They think just going to the gym and putting more plates on is going to help out. Where, my friend, like, I hadn't seen him in a while. He's like, "What the hell have you been doing with you?" I'm like, "It's just basic stuff, and it's not like going hours on end. It's usually like 20 minutes in the morning, and like I'm pretty much done with my workout. I
Yeah.
do some biking, but like nothing crazy, but it's like 20, 30-minute workouts,
Yeah.
and that's basically it, just like lengthening the muscles. And then I use a lot of resistance bands because I've gotten old, and I tore up my shoulders pretty bad when I was younger, like benching and stuff,
Yep.
um, and your mobility just gets worse and worse, and I'm trying to build on that. So
Yeah.
I bought an iron neck like a month ago. I still haven't taken it out of the box because I don't know. I had looked at it multiple times, and then you read reviews. Some people are like, "Oh, it's good, it's bad," and I've had a herniated disc in my neck a while ago. That's all improved since I've lost weight. But I was like, all right, you know, check Chat GPT. It's like, it's good if you're, a surgeon and trying to build endurance in your neck. So I just got to take it out of the box and start to use it, because
Yeah.
I think, and I was like, add on to that was like to gain shoulder mobility. So I added whatever it was for shoulder mobility, but
Yeah.
I just got to get the stuff out to be able to use it. So,
Well, and like you said earlier, like it's only 20 minutes. And if you
yeah.
can't find 20 minutes out of your day, then you're doing something wrong with your
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Instead of doom scrolling,
Yeah.
there's other stuff you can
Exactly.
do. Yeah.
Like take out the screen time. A lot of people make it goes down to excuses. A lot
Yeah.
of people say like, "Oh, I don't have time," but it's like, take out your screen time. Let's see what
It's
you're
your
actually doing.
mindset. Do you want to be in a place where you're at the top, or you want to just doom scroll?
Yeah. Are you comfortable with just talking about
Yeah.
it, or are you actually going to go after
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. And so are you coaching people right now, or?
Yeah, that's not my main business, but
Yeah.
I do coach people on it.
Yeah.
And it, typically what that looks like is where they want to be. If they want to do push-ups, pull-ups, handstands, muscle ups,
Yeah.
you go down the assessment of what their goals are, and then
Yeah.
put out a plan for them.
What's your main business then?
Oh,
That's
I do
what you said
a
it's
few different things.
Yeah.
I work a corporate 9 to 5
Yeah.
in sales, but outside of that, I'm also an app developer.
Okay.
Developed a few apps.
Okay.
Start, the coaching business
Yeah.
side. And then I started to get into distribution of digital assets. So
Yeah.
helping people scale their whatever digital product is, whether it's a service or an actual digital product,
Okay.
but helping them distribute it, market it across different industries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did the coaching thing start? Or
Someone
it's
came up to
just in the
me
beginning?
at the gym and said, "How do I do that?" And then
Yeah.
we got to chatting, and that was my first taste of, I'm qualified to be able to show somebody how to do it because they just saw me do it
Yeah.
and they want to learn from me.
Yeah.
And so that kind of started it, and then started on social media. People had reached out. So I was like, I do like this, but I started to see how much time it was taking
Yeah.
out of my schedule. And I was like, I don't think that I want to go this route of this being my main business.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, the whole point of having my business is
Yeah.
to free up my time,
Yeah.
not necessarily shrink my schedule,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of how it came about. But I always look for people who are open-minded and willing to learn. And
Yeah.
I think those are great kind of people to coach.
Yeah. If it's not your passion, then yeah.
Yeah.
But it might, you might have that one person that changes your life.
And ultimately, like, my goal is to help other people.
Yeah.
So, if they find value in that through my tips, my coaching, then
Yeah. You can find it even with your apps and stuff, like
exactly.
You can do it in multiple different ways.
Exactly. That isn't as time intensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Because coaching, unless, you get that platform that you are just like posting on social media and then like doing group coaching through Zoom videos or something like that, which, it's become such a big thing. Like, and like, I bet you like all these LA fitness trainers, like everyone's trying to get into that, and it's kind of tough to break into. LA fitness isn't around, so people might not know.
Exactly.
Or
and it's definitely a hustle in itself. I can't imagine how how those people do it without getting burnt out.
It's got to be their only job. You're holding like 3 jobs.
Different
compared to like, you got to almost drop what you're doing, and you got to consistently be just like creating.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a tough time now, although you could do it, but you got to do it in a unique way. And just you kind of got to be a creator to show people how you're doing it differently. And what you're doing is a lot different and really niche. So could pave the way, but it's going to take a lot of time.
And the last thing that I would want, I would hate for the quality of my coaching to go down because I'm taking on so much volume. Even though, more business is good business, but if the quality of what I'm putting out and telling people that I'm training, what's the point of that?
No, exactly. And then, people getting hurt and stuff like that. You're huge problem. So when you wake up in the morning, do you have like a stretch routine or something that you do at all, like to get?
I wouldn't call it like a religious stretch routine.
Yeah.
But I do have my own morning routine.
Yeah.
I always get sunlight within the first 30 minutes of the day. I take my dog out for a walk. And so I wake up, before the sun typically, but I always try and get movement in first.
Yeah.
Drink water first, get movement in, and come back inside. And I have bars set up in my house, pull-up bars, and also the parallel bars.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there and I'll just open my shoulders, do some flies, not loading anything, but enough to at least get the blood flowing to the extremities.
Yeah.
Typically when I go for my runs, stretching before. So my morning does involve movement, but I don't have like a structured religious stretching routine that I do.
Yeah.
At night, I always stretch before bed.
Yeah.
Whether it's a super hard training day or a super light rest day, I think it's always good to roll out and stretch before bed.
And do you do any yoga or Pilates or anything like that?
Yeah, I've done those, and there's a lot of similarities between yoga and calisthenics.
Yeah.
It's very grounding, very, very core based.
Yeah.
But I'm not built for yoga.
Yeah.
Pilates, I do enjoy those classes, but I'm not super into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Pilates was, I went because my wife wanted to go. But you got to also like go to the right place, and
I'm sure that's got to be a big factor of it too.
Because the first place I went to, I was more into it. This second place seemed like there were, some of these chains, and my office staff actually go to it, and they always, I'm like, I hate that place. And when I say it, they watch the show and they're like, oh, you can't, we go there all the time. You can't say that. I'm like,
that's funny.
It's just a machine. And I'm like, and when you see a trainer that's like not as fit as you, you're like, all right, I shouldn't be here. It's tough to go and train somewhere that the teachers are out of shape. Like you're like, all right, I don't want to look like you, so I'm not going to do this. And you're the coach, so who knows how long you've been doing it for.
Have you guys found a place that you like here locally?
No, I went, I went twice in a row to, I won't name it, or Reform Pilates.
Okay.
That I hated.
You didn't enjoy.
Yeah, there was a place on there was this Asian guy. There was a place on Camelback and 44th Street. It's right by Steak 44 in that plaza. That was really good, but it's tough to get into his classes.
Oh, okay.
I think location wise, and just because he knows what he's doing and he like drives you through it.
Yeah.
Because the other place I went 2 days in a row and it was like the same exact workout, and I was like, this freaking sucks. It's like it's written down in a paper and they're just coaching you through the same spiel. You know.
So I like when I go to different instructional classes like that, and you can see that they actually wrote the workout. Yeah. And that it challenges you differently from another instructor, another coach, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I agree. Like those types bring variety and different challenges. So
yeah, and you got to have the coaches that, you know, they can see someone and be like, all right, if they're coaching you through it, and they'll pick your strengths and try to drive that. Or like if you're doing things wrong, like they're able to tell you you're doing things wrong before you get hurt. And like you know, you see places like, especially when in New York, I did CrossFit and like, it was excellent. I'd go to like late night at 9 o'clock at night, I'd go and do the CrossFit workout. Like I came here and, you know, like my mindset's just like, it's a little stupid because I did competitive weightlifting. I played college football. And so I'm always like, I can beat that. I can beat that. And, you know, like I was 35 at the time and I was trying to compete with these younger kids, and they wouldn't, you know, the coaches were like more here. Where in New York, they were more like, you know, they made you warm up appropriately, made sure you were doing everything appropriately. Over here, it was like doing more weights and not like exactly into your mechanics or form or anything. So I felt like I was getting much more injured when I started doing stuff here. So I just stopped doing the CrossFit. I think it was more dangerous for me, and me being a surgeon, like my hands were hurting. I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah. You need your two most essential tools right there.
Yeah. So having the right coaches will, you know, can make or break it. And I usually don't like having coaches like take me through stuff. Although I know it's like an integral part, and it's not like, I don't like the coaches. It's just, like, I don't listen. I think it's more of an issue with me. I'm like, oh, I know how to do this better. So, and that's why I never play golf. Everyone's like, you don't golf? I'm like, no, because I'm like, I don't want to learn to swing it the wrong way, because I'm like, I look at Tiger Woods and I'm like, I'm definitely going to have back issues if I'm not swinging right, you know? So, but how about recovery wise? What do you do for recovery?
Yeah. I started doing saunas, cold plunges, and I'm sure you know, but like a lot of the places here have specialties in just recovery. They're just recovery studios.
Yeah.
And being involved with the local run clubs here, and, you know, they give out raffles, you win prizes, and, you know, they pop up at different events. So I've gone to a few of those studios. The gyms that I go to, they all have saunas, cold plunges. So I typically go to that. Post-workout, I'll do both. In the morning, I won't start my day with like a cold plunge. I'm like not that crazy, but like after a really good workout, then I'll sit there and do it. Yeah. But like I said, typically like leg compression sleeves, massage gun, stretching, rolling out. That's all like what my recovery is. It's honestly, I don't have a complicated structure to it. I'm a simple person. So I like the simplicity.
And what do you think of the leg compression sleeves? Are you seeing that much of a benefit from using them, or what differences are you seeing with having that?
You know, personally, I feel that they do help. I don't think that maybe it's not as much as they say it actually does. Yeah. But I do feel more relaxation in my muscles, you know, especially after a long run. And I just sit there and I'm kind of in a vegetative state, and it's, you know, doing its thing. But I feel like afterwards it does help me relax my muscles a little bit, especially after stretching. Yeah. You know, I think it's honestly a perk or an add-on. It's not necessarily the whole routine.
Yeah.
You know, the basics, the stretching, that's what's going to really do it. But
Yeah.
everything else on top of that's just cherries.
Yeah, because I bought the thing, but I like used it a few times, but it was
Yeah.
like so big, and I just have it like sitting somewhere. Like I haven't used it in
Yeah.
years, but I also don't run. So in running and stuff, it's probably better. And for us, like in what we do, like I think it's big in like getting the lymphatic flow and
Mm-hmm.
the drainage, which you usually, you know, after running, you're probably wanting to wash out all the metabolites and stuff from your
Absolutely.
muscles. So that probably helps with that. Diet wise, you said whole food diet. More meals, or like how do you eat? Do you eat like 6 meals a day, or you just like whenever you can eat?
No,
Yeah.
I structure my diet intentionally. So I'm not like a food bank. I just don't eat everything I see in sight.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it's something that um, grows, is it something that walks, like Whole Foods? If it's something that came out of a wrapper
Yeah.
or something that was processed, I typically stay away. I honestly like look at labels, and if they say contains genetically engineered ingredients, like
Mhm.
probably not the best thing to put in my body.
Yeah.
Um, but my diet, I say like I typically eat like a dog. I measure what I'm going to eat. I eat
Yeah.
the same thing most days.
Yeah.
And then I give myself a treat every once in a while for sticking to it.
How many calories do you usually take? Because it seems like, especially with calisthenics and running, you're probably taking in a lot more calories than normal people.
Yeah. Calorie wise, I actually don't measure as much as I do the other macros. So carbohydrates and protein are mainly what I
Yeah.
measure. Same with sodium.
Yeah.
Because that replenishes. Carbohydrates energize you for the runs. Sodium replenishes the electrolytes. So I typically pay attention to those.
Mhm.
You know, classic 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight.
Yeah.
Carbohydrates, I typically stick to the 150 gram per day.
Yeah.
You know, no more than that. So caloric intake does differ though, because I know some athletes want more to gain more mass. I
Yeah.
typically want to lose fat. So I'm playing a game of catch up, trying to balance protein versus calorie intake, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because with calisthenics, you usually want to, you know, you don't want to gain too much mass, right?
Yeah. And it's tricky because the stronger you get, the more muscles you grow, the
Yeah.
more it weighs. So as
Yeah.
you grow, your skills do still challenge you.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have a high percentage of body fat, because then that makes your workouts harder and it actually limits you.
Yeah. And then are there certain supplements you take pre-workouts or post-workouts?
Yeah.
Any?
I probably take caffeine the most,
Okay.
you know, as most endurance athletes do. But I take magnesium, ashwagandha, fish oil. Um, I also take D3 and K2. Um, those are my main rotating ones right now. And then what is it? Creatine as well.
Creatine. Yeah. How much creatine do you try to get?
I usually do 5 grams a day, 5 to 10
Okay.
grams. That's kind of my sweet spot for the progress that I've seen.
Yeah. Joint mobility. I want to talk more about that
Yeah.
because that's pretty big. And like I've always looked into it. I went to some mobility classes with the CrossFit, uh, just because you tighten up so much with the different things you do there.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you do for mobility?
Yeah. So, you know, kind of like I alluded to earlier, working out in the weight room was great of getting my strength, but I would still walk out stiff, wake up stiff, felt stiff. I didn't feel
Yeah.
like I was really flexible, mobile in any way.
Yeah.
So when I started actually incorporating my workouts, you know, wrist rolls, scapular protraction and retraction,
Yeah.
you really start to build that foundation of what your joints can support and tendons can support. Um, so, wrist flexion, elbow flexion, those aren't anything that you can just unlock in a day. Those are built over
Yeah.
time. You know, kind of like how you said, like touching your toes, like it's something that's built over time. I used to not be able to, but now I can almost completely palm the floor
Yeah.
with my legs straight. And so I think it's more just consistency. You find what works for you. You know, you have a goal in mind of what you want to achieve, and then you're able to just work up to that. So wrist rolls are really good. Whether you're just, twisting your wrist like this,
Yeah.
that way you're not like super stiff when you're under a bench and bench pressing or whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, Even shoulder flies, up against a wall or on the floor, and you press yourself down into the floor, so that way you stretch everything that's on the inside and outside.
Yeah.
Um, even even dead hangs, right?
Yeah.
Just hanging off the bar, getting that spinal cord stretch,
Yeah.
can really be beneficial too. That also trains your grip strength without compressing the spine.
Yeah.
So that sort of joint health is I don't think a lot of people speak on it
Yeah.
enough, because I hear a lot of people saying like, oh, I just need to be more active and it'll come. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, maybe not. Maybe it is that 20-minute routine every
Yeah.
morning. And then that's your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because some of them you got to hold for a certain amount of time to kind of finally get some form of release. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's like, if you're just like bending over trying to touch your toes and do that, like, for 2 seconds every day, that's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah. And also there's a misconception because I think a lot of people will pulse.
Yeah.
They'll like tap their toes and tap as they're kind of hanging.
Yeah.
And that's not really actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Even they're feeling a farther stretch.
Yeah.
What really helps those muscles stretch and grow and lengthen is that actual hold time.
Yeah.
So even if you're only at your ankles, and if that's all you can hold, but at least
Yeah.
you're able to hold it for 20 seconds,
Yeah.
then that's a lot better than trying to pulse down to your actual toes.
So, like, how's the other thing? Like, just doing bent knees and trying to push putting your hands underneath your feet
Mhm.
and then trying to, straighten out your knees to kind of stretch out that back. What are your thoughts on that? Or is it better to just hang? At the beginning, it's probably better to just hang, right? Or reach rather
Yeah.
than try to stretch that, push that.
I would say getting your body familiar with what you're trying to do is the best thing that you can do first.
Yeah.
So if you are just hanging down, getting your body familiar with that, then your
Yeah.
body's going to learn to lengthen. And then you can really stretch is an active motion. So
Yeah.
then you can really be intentional about stretching forward.
Mm.
There's a difference between rounding your back versus twisting your navel or bending at your navel. And when you're able to do that, then you lengthen the muscles even more.
Okay.
There's multiple different compression workouts, compression skills that you can do to help with that mobility.
Yeah.
Pike compression leg lifts are very beneficial to help compress the core, which is transferable into a lot of skills. So in calisthenics, you get those basic skills down, those basic workouts,
Yeah.
pike compressions, push-ups, pull-ups, dips. And it's going to help you progress in a lot of those advanced skills.
And did you have to work at the beginning? Did you have to work a lot on your grip strength before with calisthenics?
Yeah. So at the beginning, I was I tried the first skill that I had was an elbow lever, and it's more balance than anything.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go into a frog hold,
Yeah.
and my wrist couldn't do it because I didn't know what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
And so I started then backing up, being like, I need to work on the basics. I need to work my wrists up to that point to
Yeah.
load them. And then worked on push-ups and pull-ups. So I did dead hangs, but I also do, for core, I'll do toe to bar
Yeah.
and just raise my legs up as high as I can to tap the bar and bring it back down, up and down.
Yeah.
So I work the grip, core at the same time. I like to
Yeah.
do, two workouts, or not two workouts, but work two things at the
Two
same
things.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, grip's so important in longevity, especially we talk a lot about longevity. Grip strength's like one of the big things, but like people think by just like building that up, they'll live longer, but it's more, like so many different things take in grip strength.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get. Like
Yeah, exactly. Plus
whether
you
you're
get to take it-
benching, whether you're doing pull-ups,
Yeah.
it's
'Cause
all.
if you're doing pull-ups, your grip is likely going to be the one to go before your strength does.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't feel sore, but I knew I could have done more, but then you get frustrated in your head, and it's like, most people don't think it's because of the grip, you know? That's a weakened part, because the pull-up works your back, but it's your forearms, your grip. That's also just as important.
Yeah. Nowadays, I'm more afraid I'm going to tear my like bicep muscle because like all the friends that I have that have torn their bicep muscle off, I'm like, all right, when's that going to come?
Yeah.
But I try to do like, do some pull-ups every morning when I wake up.
Yeah.
And that's more of a new thing that I've started to do. I'm like, going to do pull-ups until I can do like 100 in a day,
I do 100 pull-ups every day.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like it's small, but it's built a habit, and that habit.
Yeah.
So I kind of gone in phases. Like right now it's 100 pull-ups every day.
How many do you do? Like your first rep?
It could be like, 10 sets of 10, 20 sets of 5.
Yeah.
I could do 10, 15, 10, 10, 15, 20, and as long as I hit the 100 is the goal. And in the fall I was doing handstands every day until I could do it for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And by day 26, I hit 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So it was like, as the habit habitually building, you can unlock what you want to unlock.
Yeah. One of the videos, I think it was on TikTok, you're balancing yourself on a ball. You had like, was it barbells or some wooden bolts?
Yeah, those are called parallettes.
Yeah.
And you can use those, or you can use dumbbells. But yeah, putting them on the Bosu ball.
Yeah.
And then balancing myself on that is a lot of fun.
How long did that take to learn?
So I learned flat handstands first, which took about 6 months for me to have a strong hold.
Yeah.
Again, and then that was my foundation.
Yeah.
And then going into it on the Bosu ball, unlocked it in like a couple weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah.
That is more just beneficial to learning rebalance.
Yeah.
Because the ball moves, and if you can hold yourself stable, it's not going to move. But if it does, it's more forgiving because you're able to bend at your wrists and your hips, and you're not likely to fall over as easily.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have gotten there if I had not had the foundation of a handstand built first.
And then what I find tough for myself is like getting my wrist mobility back, because I think from surgery and, staying away from like working out for a while, like everything just stiffened up, and it's like trying to re-stretch those tendons back out to where they are, especially to be able to do a handstand. That's important. What are some stretches you do for the hand? You showed some of them.
Yeah.
Like the flexion, extension. Anything.
You said you had resistance bands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you take one of those and you extend your wrists out like this.
Yeah.
So you get that external rotation, flip them over.
Yeah.
Do the same thing inwards. Even it can be with like a 5-pound dumbbell or even just the band itself, but those types of movements and circular movements. Anybody that I do give coaching tips on, I tell them try not to focus. Like, it's not necessarily like a muscle you're trying to work out. You're not trying to break a PR. You're really trying to be intentional. And the thing is, calisthenics is body awareness. So if you're intentional and you have that connection, then it's going to be beneficial. Yeah. But, just not going through the motions just to go through it, but actually being intentional about doing it. Yeah. Circular wrists, even just stretches like this where you pull your fingers back, pull your fingers down
this is how
forward.
far my left.
Yeah.
Yeah. My right hand goes better, but my left hand's like, and I've had one of the tendons worked on. Yeah. And I got a lot of issues with like CrossFit. I got like tendonitis in almost all my fingers. But it was also like a poor diet, and I just didn't take care of myself. Yeah. I drank at the time. So I think it had to do a lot with the all around circle.
Isn't it crazy how all those things affect our physical well-being? Yeah. Whether it's drinking or a bad meal or, something.
You totally feel like once you become more in tune, you feel it like that. Yeah. Like with a single meal. And
Yeah.
that's, you're like, all right, I'm not putting that in my body again.
No.
So yeah.
And like, it's like you do it and it's like, I'm going to feel like crap for the next couple of days.
Especially like in the US, like when I go out of the country, it's like you have more freedom, whatever you want to eat. But in the US, it's like, yeah. And in the sodium thing, like I get a lot of pre-made meals, and that's like one of the biggest things I watch is like most of the pre-made meals from whatever company you get, not microwave meals. These are like fresh meals that come to your house. They still got a lot of sodium.
Yeah.
Like you look at Factor, and it's like 20-30% of your sodium for a day is just in one meal. So you're like, you got to be careful with how much sodium you take in.
Yeah. Especially if you're not doing anything to replenish that amount with.
Yeah.
You know, for the normal person, that's way too much.
Yeah.
You know, but endurance athletes, like sometimes they need that extra boost. Sometimes it's good. So, you know, it could be, I agree. Like most of the food, unfortunately, in the US is just super loaded with unnecessary stuff that doesn't help.
And even
the average
preparation,
person.
that's not even like what it's like all the way up to making it to your table.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So and we're talking about, you know, we've talked about the bleached chicken, which we got a lot of people talking about, but like whether it's chicken, it's beef, or you know your farm raised fish, they're all like pretty bad overall. So
and I agree. Every time I've traveled outside the US, I've felt so much better after eating a huge meal and don't feel like
you don't gain weight. That's the thing. You come back, you're like the same weight. You're like, I ate like crap, but it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I think they're making small changes, but overall it's like capitalist society and it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
But at least now I think, we have a lot more available to us, Whole Foods, although some people might hate Whole Foods, and we have Sprouts here too in Arizona. They're two great places where you can find organic and like try to and read the labels, you just don't buy the crap that has a ton of crap in it. So.
Yeah. It takes work to be able to find the stuff that is actually good for you.
Yeah.
And, in some places in the world, you can buy food and it's actual food.
Yeah. And growing up, like I know my mom, like she's a great cook, but it was probably not the best, like healthiest cooking for us.
Yeah.
We're Iranian, so it was. And how did you feel at home? And we were poor too, so on top of it, you like get like crap and kind of get caught up with like a lot of bad choices.
Yeah.
So
growing up, Hispanic meals aren't always the healthiest.
Yeah.
Loaded with carbs, sodium, oils, everything like that.
Yeah.
So growing up, I didn't have an idea of what I was putting in my body. It was just like, Mom, this tastes great. I want another plate.
Yeah.
Not realizing what it actually was. And so it wasn't until after I started getting into all this where I was like, oh man, wait, how much oil did you just put in that?
Yeah.
And
everything's sauteed and like tons of rice and everything's sauteed.
Yep.
So it tastes great. But that was like when I started, well, I've been yo-yo like with weight loss, weight gain, but over the past 5 years, I've kind of stayed pretty consistent. But like when I was younger, and the first thing I did for weight loss was cut out rice. It was like the hardest thing to do. And like I went to Iran and everyone's like, what's wrong with you? Like they're like cooking all this rice, putting it in front of me. I'm like, I can't eat rice, know? I'm like, I got to stop because I was just like all the time eating rice with every meal, just gaining tons of weight.
Yeah.
So,
and everybody's looking at you sideways like, what?
This is supposed to be healthy for you. You got to look healthy. So, the childhood, and that's what I'm trying to like kind of teach my kids, but the grandparents and everyone else kind of, and like the people around them, the advertisements all about like the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
we go through the airport and it's like, they want the Cheetos, they want the
Yeah.
Cheez-Its. And I'm like, we got the healthy version for you. So
Yeah.
stay away from that
It's not a
stuff.
single healthy thing in an airport.
No, never. They're the only healthy thing is like, well, they got these new vending machines that are the farmers, whatever
okay.
market thing. But I don't know, I don't know how they keep those fresh. Like, who's coming in
Right.
and changing those out, and how often are they changing them out?
Right.
Because I'm like, there can't be much of a resale. Like, I know some people probably take it, but I don't know how much resale of a
Yeah.
healthy, like, especially when people are already stressed out. Are they going to go for something healthy, or are they going to just pick up the easiest thing?
Right. Whatever has the shortest line or whatever's closest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we can go to the questions, right? So we'll do some quick hit questions, see
Okay.
where you're at. All right. So pull-ups or push-ups?
Push-ups.
Running or calisthenics?
Calisthenics.
Favorite calisthenics skill?
Oh, the Bosu ball handstands.
All right. Most difficult skill you've learned?
Oh, most difficult skill I've learned. Muscle up.
Morning workout or evening workout?
I'm a morning guy. Morning
Yeah.
workouts.
Long run or sprint workout?
Long run.
One exercise everyone should do?
One exercise everyone should do. Oh, that's a good one. I need a second for that. One exercise everyone should do.
Don't say pull-up because you already
Yeah,
said
I
push-up.
know. No, I actually am going for a pistol squat.
Okay.
Actually,
That's actually great. Yeah. One health habit everyone should adopt?
Stretching.
Biggest fitness myth?
That you can outwork a shitty diet.
What does aging well mean to you?
Oh, aging well to me means having full capability of your body for as long as you can.
That's it. That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, and like you said, the pistol squat and the last question answered, those are both like big things, because the pistol squat's pretty much like being able to get up and down without using your hands. And
Yep.
that's another part of, along with the hand grip, it's one of the biggest things that starts to go downhill as you age. So being able to keep that up, people think it's easy, but try to get up without using your hands.
It's humbling.
And
Yeah.
you're falling over on your face.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. No,
It
those are
also
big
like
things.
teaches you awareness, balance, flexibility in some aspects too. When I started doing them, I didn't realize how stiff my ankles were.
Yeah.
I didn't have any flexibility.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, okay, now I know what I need to work on.
Yeah. Yeah. The ankles stiffen up real quick.
Yeah.
You gotta, yeah. That's like, yeah, especially doing squats. And that's where, I'm like, all right, I gotta get some weights to do squats, because like without weights, with the resistance bands, you built some, I think you built some mobility, but not as much as like some weight compression will.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Thank you for being here. All right.
Awesome. Hey, thank you for
Thanks.
having me. I really appreciate it.